Good afternoon. Welcome to my pre-class series of videos for Intermediate Financial Accounting 2. Before I start today's video, I want to say thank you to Victoria. Victoria, this is our 40th video shooting together. You just achieved your accounting designation. Thank you. Proud of you. And everyone, she has been here many Saturdays and Sundays shooting these videos with me, sacrificing her time, and we're working hard for you. Our last topic. We're doing 10 videos in a day. If I look a little tired, I'm sorry. Starting to get there. Hang in there with me, and I'll hang in there with you. The last one is about changes in estimates and inventory errors, and errors in general. I'm going to focus on estimates to start us off with. Highlight the key things about a change in estimate that I want you to see, understand, reflect upon before you come to class, so that when I introduce it in class, it'll be pretty smooth for you. Let's get started. The asset purchase price is $80,000. We're going to depreciate it over 10 years, have a salvage value of $10,000. So, how do you calculate depreciation? Very simple. Our depreciation per year would be $80,000 minus $10,000 divided by 10. We will take $7,000 per year. Now, 3 years have gone by, and we're going to change something. We think that the total life is now 5, not 10. So this is a change in estimate. What do we do when something changes? So in this case, maybe there's some new technology coming in. This asset is becoming outdated very quickly. We'll be able to use it for maybe a couple more years. Then we need to switch to something different. Could be that straightforward. Now, accounting is not perfect. And as the higher level accounting courses are showing you, we're getting more and more into the estimate side. And we're getting more and more into the professional judgment. So in this case, what we have to do is we basically don't redo everything. We don't make this as if it's correct from the beginning. That's just the cost benefit of that is not worth it. We incorporate our new information, we make changes based on our new information, and we go from there. We use a prospective approach, meaning we don't go back and change things. We're not changing retained earnings. We're taking new information that we didn't know a few years earlier, taking that new information, and now we're using that to calculate new amounts. So instead of $7,000 a year depreciation, we're going to have something different. So 3 years have gone by. How do we do this? Well, step one is we calculate our book value. We need to calculate what is the book value of this asset after 3 years. Well, we started off with $80,000 as our purchase price. We've taken $7,000 a year of depreciation for 3 years. That equals $21,000. We now have $59,000 as our book value. That's the book value of our asset at this point in time. So we need to solve for our book value. Step two, we need to incorporate now the new information. So our new information tells us that the book value is $59,000. We're still going to have the same salvage value of $10,000. And our total useful life is now equal to 5. Now this is tricky and catches students all the time. 5 is our total useful life. Have years gone by? Is this asset brand new? No. 3 years have gone by. So we're going to depreciate this over 2 years. This is the tricky part. It's the part that catches students all the time. So 5 is the total life. 3 years have gone by. We're only going to depreciate this over 2 years. Our depreciation amount then will be equal to $24,500. So that's the things to watch for in change of estimates. Now we're on the final topic. And this topic is definitely one of my favorites. Why? Because it's very difficult. And it's all about inventory errors. I remember looking at old CGA exams, and almost every CGA exam, date after date after date, had an inventory question error on it. It was really interesting. If you looked at the last 10 exams, 8 of them, for example, would have an inventory error question on it. So it's a very important topic. It's a challenging topic to think about the effects of it. So what's my goal? To take something challenging and make it easy for you. And let's do that. So we have to understand a little bit about cost of goods sold. And this is tricky for students. Let me just show you a really simple way of understanding it. And I do this in class all the time. Imagine this is inventory. Take markers. My beginning inventory is 1 marker. Now I just purchased 5 more, so now I have 6. At the end of the year, I've got 2 left over. So what's my cost of goods sold? 4. So that's what we're going to do here in our very simple schedule. So this is the starting point. Understanding the schedule. So the schedule is going to look like this. We're going to have a year 1 and we're going to have a year 2. We're going to make these numbers up. So if you see millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars and the errors and big numbers in the question, ignore all that. This is all about just understanding the theory, and then at the end, once we understand the theory, we'll just take the error number and say, is it overstated or understated? So make these numbers up. It's really quite straightforward. And make them very small numbers. So if I was to take a look at year 1, 5 plus my purchases, so beginning inventory plus purchases means I have 14 available. Subtract out my ending inventory, my cost of goods sold for year 1 is 12. Ending inventory becomes beginning inventory, year 2. Make up some new numbers. 11 for my purchases, 4 for my ending inventory. I now have cost of goods sold of 9. I put it into a little mini income statement for year 2. Make these numbers up again, the revenue. This comes from there. I now have my net income of 6. So I understand how cost of goods sold flows. I understand the effect that it has on my net income. What we need to do now is we need to make an error. And we need to look at how this schedule is going to be affected if an error occurred. So let's say, for example, in year 1, that ending inventory right there was overstated. 5 was the amount that was put in there, and it should have been 2. So this is correct. What we're going to do is we're going to recreate this and change the error. So we're going to have the error put in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this the incorrect. So we've got year 1 here. So we've got beginning inventory of 5, purchases of 9, ending inventory is 5 now, not 2. And what happens is then our cost of goods sold becomes 9. Now, inventory errors like this will carry forward to the next year because this ending inventory becomes the beginning inventory the next day, year 2. So 5 plus 11 plus 4. And notice, the only thing I'm changing is making those 2 values 5. This stays the same. This stays the same. Now I have 12 here. Now if you look at the 2 numbers here, it's really fascinating. 12 plus 9, the total over the 2 years is 21. 9 plus 12, the total over the 2 years is 21. You give this enough time, it will correct itself out. But if we want to know the effect that it has on year 2, we got to do something about that. So what we do, again, create that little mini income statement. Our revenue is 15. Our cost of goods sold with the error is 12. Now our net income shows as 3. And again, if you think about it, what's the difference between here? Should have been 2, came in at 5. The difference there is 3. But why we want to create this schedule is that we don't know if the effect made the net income overstated or understated. That's why we do all this work, because it comes down to, was it overstated or was it understated? So what you can see is it should have been 6. The end result is that it was 3. So this error caused our net income for year 2 to be understated. Should have been 6, was actually 3. Now, try and figure this out in your head. It's really confusing. What I like to do is take 5 minutes, create this, and feel really confident that I'm going to get understated or overstated correct on the test. And I just love this for beyond this type of an error. Learn to create very simple examples to understand the effect that it has, the theory. Ignore the fact that the number could be huge. Once you understand the effect it has, for example, in this case, causes net income to be understated, then you have a really sound understanding that the effect an error can have on your financial statements. That's the end of the series. I hope it has been very valuable to you, and I look forward to your feedback in class. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.